What's going on, y'all? My name is Joltage, and today bring you my week 3 of LPL versus Tack. Another one of my former teammates slash players, as I managed him on Scrubs last year, but this time I like to take him on in some LCUU. Before we get into this, let's go over the team, shall we? Hold on one sec. And here is the squad. Now this squad has a name, actually. It's called Back to the Beach, as it was inspired really just made to reimagine my old ORAS RMT of Day at the Beach. As you know, half the team was usable in LCUU this gen, so I thought, hey, why not? It was at one point 2/3 of the team usable, but we banned Shelter. Anyway, let's get into the team. So, as this is basically an update, any Pokemon that were on the original team have kept their spot. And first up is my lovely Sandile. Same EV spread as last time: 17 speed, 15 attack, 12 defense, Eviolite, Intimidate. Stealth Rock, Taunt, Earthquake, Crunch. In the old version it had Stone Edge, but there's no Vol or Arshin to deal with now, or Fletch for that matter. So, Fletch does exist, but it's not the premier threat that it was back in the day. So we've got dual stab on it this time. And yeah, this thing's pretty cool. It's put in a lot of work in games that I've tested this in, just because I think mainly out of a surprise factor. No one really expects Sandile to be like a taunt and anti-lead of sorts. Typically, if you see Sandile, you're like, oh, it has Moxie. I guess it's going to be like Scarf Moxie Sweeper or something like that. But no, it's actually, fun fact, the fastest rocker we have in LCUU at the moment. And with Taunt, it just leads well against all the other rockers. Except, Sandshrew not particularly great against, but it does fine. It can taunt. It prevents hazards extremely well. The ground Dark Stab is actually quite solid in this tier, especially against offense. Obviously fatter stuff can come in pretty easily, but Sandile's been really excellent. There probably is a more applicable EV spread to be running nowadays. 17 speed is completely necessary, but I think the defense back in the day was for something with Archin or maybe Fletch. But obviously those aren't around / a big deal anymore, so you probably don't need the defense, or maybe don't, or I have no idea. I haven't actually run any calcs on it, but yeah. Anyway, so because we don't want to drag this on too much, next up we got Krogunk. This one is a pretty standard mix gunk, I think. It's not the same set it was in the previous team. Last time it had Sucker Punch for Gothita, and Ghastly and Abra, but now without those guys around, Krogunk can just run the just normal mix set. And by normal mix set, I mean it has knockoff, and in addition to its normal special attacking set, 12 speed, because I just like the 12 speed set. And yeah, it's Krogunk. It's great against the waters of the tier. It's good emergency check to just things with priority, things as it has priority. Meowth, or Bun LB, or stuff like that. Next up, and the final member of the OG squad, we've got Natu. Natu is the exact same as it was previously. Psychic, Heat Wave, U-Turn, Roost. U-Turn mainly just to U-Turn out of Stunky as it comes in. And Natu doesn't really have other things that it really wants to be running over that, so I think it's cool. And I just like this Natu set. Roost, it's really good against the fighters. Krogunk, Pancham, Stuffle, Riolu, Machop, all of them can roost up on them. Yeah, good Pokemon. But now we get into the new boys. We've got Helioptile replacing Magnemite. Same basic idea though. Helioptile is the best Scarf electric type in my opinion, and it really helps that it forms a nice Volt Turn core with Natsu, a little mini one right there, and it really helps to get in the next two members of the team up against some fatter stuff like your hippos or things like that that try to come in to block the Volt Switch. You can just U-turn, and then Pumpkaboo or Krabby is staring them in the face and looking very threatening. Not much to say on Helio. It's my standard one. I run it pretty much every time. Next up, we've got Life Orb Pumpkaboo Small. I'm really a big fan of this set right now. It's quite strong. It can really just and it can really do some work in games, especially against offense. If you can get it a flame charge, it outspeeds everything, and it just is very threatening. Poltergeist, Bullet Seed, Flame Charge, and Shadow Sneak. The Shadow Sneak slot is probably the most variable. I like it just as extra insurance against like Pony G or something, in case I don't get off a flame charge, or just good general priority. The first three moves I think are pretty mandatory on this set, but instead of Shadow Sneak you can run like Rock Slide or Destiny Bond or some other stuff, but I think Shadow Sneak is pretty good there. That's Adamant Nature instead of Jolly, because Adamant Life Orb Poltergeist gets like 3 additional damage on average over Jolly against 14 defense Eviolite users such as Pancham or like a Larvesta or something. Larvesta can run more defense, but yeah, it gets a notable damage increase, which I think is enough justification. Plus, I typically will stop at 14 for my creeping slower stuff, so this hits 15, so it's fine. And yeah, really good set. Quite happy with it. And last but not least, and that's replacing Snivy, who is no longer with us. I didn't want to put Fomantis because, yuck. But last but not least, we've got, in replacing Shelder, we've got another sea creature, Krabby. Krabby just kind of is the most like-for-like of Shelder, with its agility, life orb. Sheer Force just hits like a truck. We've got Body Slam as our last move over, say, Rock Slide or Superpower, just because Rock Slide doesn't really hit anything other than Mantike. That Liquidation doesn't just bop. And Body Slam's just decent neutrally against everybody. Knockoff is for your Frillishes, your Pumpkaboos, things like that. But yeah, but that's the team. It's the least safe team that I've brought so far. I think it hard loses to Hail. I don't think it's great again. It's okay against Sand, but keeping the Sand away, it can't. Sandshrew is very threatening if it's able to come in and on things, but Sand's not that bad. But the Hail matchup's not good. I don't think the Zig matchup's stellar, but we do have a Pumpkaboo and a Taunt Sandile, so it's not that bad. But I was pretty comfortable with the team, because it does feel a lot like my old one. But enough of that. Let's get into the game. Alright, back at the game, and so from team preview, Tack brought a honestly odd looking team, not very aesthetically pleasing. I think my team is very aesthetically pleasing, which is obviously a plus point for me. But it definitely does have some threats. Meowth's always annoying. Machop's interesting. You don't really see that a whole lot. I think it's probably the best Scarfer that we've got right now. In terms of the fighting types, at least. So I assume it's probably that. I don't know, because of the nature of the team, I don't know if the Dwebble is going to be Shell Smash or not. But it's definitely a possibility that it is, with Qfint setting the rocks and Trubbish setting some spikes down. And then Natu's probably just glue. there. But matchup wise, I don't think it's that difficult. I'm personally heading in looking at a Krabby sweep late game because his water resist is he doesn't have one, so that's not great for him. So Krabby will be able to do some absolute work later in the game, just get some rocks and stuff. And it's bulky enough physically to where Meowth's fake out won't be too bad. Alternatively, Pumpkaboo looks pretty good, though he does have a good grass resist. He doesn't have anything that just completely shuts it down Natu. But we're gonna lead Sandile, expecting the Meowth because Sandile can intimidate it and make that less annoying. But he leads Qfint, so we get a great matchup, and I don't expect him to stay in here at all, so I'm just going to go right for the rocks here. He goes hard to Webble. I don't want him setting up anything, so I just go for the taunt. He tries to set up Stealth Rocks, and that's cool. Here, I don't want to switch into like a knockoff or anything, or like a rock move. And like the only thing I would be switching in is like Krabby would be the choice, but with him revealing Stealth Rocks, I know he's probably Sturdy Juice. I'm just gonna take this time to pop that, make it so Dwebble's not that big a deal later on. He goes for the knockoff, removes my Sandile's Eviolite. No, not a big deal. I'm gonna go for a Crunch in case he tries to go Natu on an Earthquake there. Just don't want to give him that free switch, but we're going to be able to take it out with the Earthquake here. Now he goes Meowth, and I expect him to go for the fake out, so I go Pumpkaboo, and was going to, I guess, pivot. Yeah, I was going to go Pumpkaboo and then pivot to Croagunk next turn on the expected knockoff, or go back to Sandile for another Intimidate, but for Intimidate on the knockoff here, but he just goes for the U-turn. I don't think this was a play I needed to make, really. Really kind of playing a little too a little too recklessly with my Pumpkaboo there, but I wasn't punished too badly. But he goes Natu. I don't outspeed naturally, so I'm just going to get out of here. I don't need the health on my Helioptile, as I'm going to take this Heat Wave, and he doesn't have an Electric Immunity, which I think is a mistake, by the way. I think Electric Immunity is a damn near must bring on every team, just because nothing sucks more than just getting Volt turned on all the time. Anything you can do to just stop the momentum is great. Not that Helio can technically be stopped, but if I can't click Volt Switch, U-turn's a lot weaker, and stuff like that. And yeah, our electric types have ways of getting around electric immunities. Helio can't do anything to Goldeen, but Joltik is great against all the electric immunities. So it's not a perfect answer or anything, but I just think the value of limiting my ability to Volt Switch on you is something you should take into account. Always, IMO have an electric immunity. Anyway, rant over. I get the Volt Switch out on his Trubbish. He goes Berry Juice popped. I'm just going to go back up to my Sandile. At the very least, we're going to speed tie, but I don't expect him to be 17 speed. I'm just going to go right for the Earthquake because I know he's not going to go to his Natu there. If he does, I can just crunch that next turn. But he goes back out to Meowth, and with Meowth being his answer for Sandile, it's a little wild to me. Sandile was apparently just an excellent bring here. It taunted the Dwebble, removed that. It threatens Qfint, threatens Natu, threatens Trubbish. It beat the Dwebble. Sandile was apparently just the go prep bring, even though I didn't actually prep for this week because I was depressed and just busy. But it worked out. But he goes out to his Meowth. I probably would have gone Machop if I was him, but he reveals that he is Scarf later on, so Machop would have had to lock himself into Dynamic Punch, which obviously I could exploit with my Pumpkaboo or something like that. And when he goes Meowth, I decided to just sack my Sandile to the U-turn. He takes a little bit more chip. He's gonna have to take the rock coming back in. He goes Machop now, and I just go out to my Natu, knowing I can take any one hit. Goes for the knockoff, does okay damage, not enough to be threatening, and I get to take him out with the Psychic. There goes Qfint. As long as this is not Scarf Qfint, I get Heat Wave damage, which is excellent. My Natu goes down, but I just needed that Heat Wave damage so that my Pumpkaboo Small could come in, Flame Charge for the kill, and just clean up from there, which it is going to be able to do. Flame Charge is going to take out Qfint. Natu's going to go down to my Poltergeist, and then Meowth's going to go down to the Bullet Seed, and that's going to be the game. So, good game to Tack. I think, yeah, just good. This game worked out for me quite well. Sandal put in a lot of work, and put Pumpkaboo in the position to just clean up at the end there. But yeah, if you enjoyed, feel free to hit the like. I'll be bringing you all my LPL games, talking more LCUU, because I just think it's a really fun metagame, deserves to be talked about. It's almost the end of the month, actually, so we'll be getting another shift. I don't actually know if we're running standard, like, monthly shifts, like the level 100 tiers are doing right now, because we switched to the 3-month shift previously, but I'll have to ask Kip about that. Anyway, I digress, but I'll see you next time. Bye bye.